Welcome to Askdpros, where I talk to professionals, entrepreneurs, and people making a difference around the globe. They tell their story because everybody's story is different, everybody's story is unique, and we can only tell our stories the best way we can. On this episode, I got a young guy here, he's studying at the moment. He's studying at the moment, studying genetics in the university, and he's also an entrepreneur, and we're going to talk about a bit about himself, and also him as an entrepreneur. Austin Okolo, welcome to Ask the Pros.
Hi, I'm good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thanks. Good. So Austin, to start things off, tell us a bit about yourself, and how was Austin, Austin growing up as a kid?
Well, my parents are both Nigerian, so I've got two immigrant parents who are very, very hardworking. I've grown up in London all my life. I'm West London. I've played football from when I was 8 years old. When I got to secondary school, year seven, I started selling like sweets, selling like anything to get my hands on, clothes, and that's why I really like found a passion for selling. As I went through secondary school, I found a passion for science as well. I found that I was good at science and enjoyed science, as well as my business side and football side. So when I went to the sixth form, I did A-levels in biology, chemistry, and philosophy and ethics, which then got me into the University of Sussex, where I studied genetics. And I started my business called Born to Stand Out, which is all about empowering the people. Because I feel like a lot of people nowadays, a lot of clothing nowadays don't have a positive message. So my business is all about clothing that's also fashionable, but as well as empowering people, making people like stand out in their environments and feel good about themselves. And I started that in 2018, officially registered as a limited company, and it's just been going strength from strength since then. So yes, it's been my journey.
Yeah, okay, that's cool. Cool. So let's roll it back a bit.
Yep.
Why genetics? Why are you studying genetics? What was your interest?
I've always wanted to make an impact on the world. But there's one thing that my teacher told me in school, which was when you die and everybody that knows you dies, your Facebook friends, your Instagram followers, when everybody dies, it'll be as if you never existed because everybody that ever knew you has died. So like it'll be like you never existed. So I always want to leave a legacy, and I feel like science is such a great way we can help so many people through like discoveries through medicine and help people like just get by. So and also I just enjoy it. Like I find it so interesting. I feel like everything around us, like this podcast, is if it wasn't for science, I wouldn't be talking to you from right now through Skype. If it wasn't for science,
Yeah, you're right.
Science is literally in everything that we do and everything that we are. So I just find it fascinating.
So as a kid, what were you most gravitated to? What did you love doing best as a kid?
Well, if I'm being honest, like football was a big part of my childhood. Like I love football. I wanted to be a professional footballer. That's all. Like that was my dream. As a kid, like I played a lot of football. And yeah, that was the main thing really. But I feel like when you're a kid, you don't really know what you want to be in terms of education side. So obviously, you got your African parents say, "Oh, be a doctor or be a lawyer." So that was in my ear.
Yeah.
So I knew I had to do well in school, but I wasn't sure why I had to do well. But the main thing for me as a kid was definitely football. That was a massive part of my childhood.
Do you plan to go pro with that?
No, I don't really plan on it. It's just a thing where football's something I've known. As you said, as I said, I've been playing since I was 8 years old. So for me to give it up is very hard because it's literally something I enjoy and love and something I'm good at. And I feel like for me to stop playing it would be like a waste of talent. So there's no real plan to go pro. But if it happens, it happens. But I feel like in life you do what you enjoy and what you're good at. I enjoy football, so as long as I keep enjoying football, I want to keep playing football. So that's just the way I see it. And then whatever happens from it, happens from it.
How's uni been for you? How like being like started uni first year. How was
Yeah.
that? Was there a culture shock for you?
Well, I don't know. Like with me, I'm a bit weird. Like I'm a very social person, but at the same time, I don't really like change. So going to a new environment was exciting because I'm meeting new friends, like new environment, new experiences, which is what I enjoy as a person. But at the same time, changing the change was a bit like drastic. But I adapted well, and I really enjoy the freedom that you get, the independency that you get, and it's definitely something that I would recommend because you definitely like learn so much from being in university, living by yourself, cooking for yourself, paying your own rent, things like that.
Going back to growing up as a teenager, with all the things going around London, because
Yeah.
now you're in uni,
Mm.
so how did that whole phase happen? Because you probably would have had friends in high school, secondary school that maybe a little bit influential,
Yeah,
or I don't know, so just enlighten us on that bit, how you crossed that whole phase of growing up and
yeah, yeah,
not getting into
yeah.
trouble.
Yeah, I'm even grateful to be in here. I feel like it's really hard to make it out of that kind of thing. So I'm happy to be in university in Brighton now. 'Cause I feel like I've escaped kind of going down the wrong path kind of thing. I feel like right now I'm in a safe place kind of thing. Whereas before, like anything could happen to you at any moment. So growing up, like I definitely had, because I went to public secondary school. I don't go to private
Okay.
secondary school, so I was with literally people that were like focused on education, and people at the same time that were like battling things on like the road kind of life. So I even had like one of my best friends I was close with. He ended up going on that path, and right now like he's in and out of prison. He nearly even died. He got stabbed. So I've definitely been around it. I've definitely witnessed it. I've definitely seen people get stabbed. But with me, my parents had a strong hold on me. My parents, I don't think, I think it was more as African parents. There's more fear of that really had me, because I feel like a lot of people, especially in the black community, don't have a lot of dads, and for whatever reason, a lot of young black kids that have dads in their lives. And I feel like dads are so essential for a young boy, because in the same way I love my mum and she can do a lot for you, but you don't relate to your mum the same way that you relate to your dad in certain aspects of life. I feel like a lot of correlation I see is when young black men who don't have dads, a lot of them go down the wrong path, but they haven't really got that man figure to really look up to. Because I even thought the other day when I was growing up as a kid, the people I was really looking up to when I was like year seven was the people doing the wrong things. Like those are the people that were
Okay.
cool. You know what I'm saying? But having a dad there helped me stay like mentally strong and mentally smart. But if you haven't got a dad there and all you're seeing is the cool people were the guys that were doing the bad stuff, then who's gonna tell you that's not the right path? Who's gonna tell you that's not cool? I was lucky I had a dad to tell me that that's not what's right. But people without parents, I mean, say people without a dad, there's no one to really tell them no, don't do that. As like a proper like father figure, which I have, but not a lot of people have, like a role model as a father. And my father is my role model, but people without fathers that grew up in London haven't really got that role model to look up to. All they really have is the people that were considered cool in secondary school were the people that were doing the bad things, and that's all they saw as a figure, which is why I feel like so many people go down the wrong path. The lack of like, like role models.
You just mentioned your dad now, so
Yeah.
how close are you to your dad?
Or I love my family. Like, of course, there's been ups and downs, but my dad's literally my biggest role model. Like, to come from Nigeria, like, came here with literally nothing, and to build what he's built now in terms of businesses, in terms of
That's
like
good.
a great family with me, my two brothers, and my mum. Like, to really do what he's done is my big inspiration. Like, I've started from a much better position than he has. So for me personally, if I don't achieve anything near what he's achieved, it's a bit of a failure, because like there's no reason why I can't go and achieve what he's achieved, because he literally came from nothing, and that's what I mean. That's why I've got like a strong role model. But a lot of people whose dads have left them like single parent, single mothers, they haven't really got that role model like I have. So the only people they really have to look up to are the people like the roadmen or the people doing bad things. You know what I mean? So I was blessed in that sense. I thank God for that.
Have you ever made mistakes in your life?
I've made mistakes, but not like I haven't really been in too much trouble. I've been in situations where, like, I remember there was one time where I was actually with my friends, and then there was this boy that they had like like disagreements with, and they were actually going
Okay.
to the boy's house to beat up that boy, and I was with them, and then I remember I was on the bus now, and then obviously as I said I come from a home where they told me that this isn't right, this could get you in trouble, and also the fear of me getting in trouble, like my parents instilled that in me. So I remember I lied to my friend and said, oh, you know what, guys, like I'm really ill, I'm gonna go home. But all them, yeah, but all of those boys actually continued to go to that boy's house, and then they beat him up, and every single one of those boys got arrested. So if I was there at the time, if I don't make that decision in that moment as a year 9, 14, 13-year-old boy, to make the decision at that moment to say, no, I'm going to go home and lie, I would have got arrested the same way that everybody else that was there got arrested. So that's just like, close calls. I've even been in barber shops where somebody's run into the shop and has been stabbed right in front of me. So growing up in London is definitely tough, but you just have to like like make the right smart decisions. Like I feel like you don't make decisions like people feel peer pressure. I think peer pressure is a massive thing in definitely like growing up in London. People feel like, oh, to be considered cool is to do this. But if you know, like deep down, you know what you're doing is wrong, do not do it. Like I wouldn't have been seen cool going home and chickening out of that fight, or whatever. Not even chickening out, but saying I was ill of that fight. Pretty much chickening out I wouldn't have been seen cool, but I knew in the long run that would benefit me. So always think long term. The people that went to that fight, they all got arrested. You know what I'm saying? So I could have had a criminal record at this point. I could maybe not gone to university. So like, don't think about what's cool. Think about what's right. That's my biggest advice to kids. Because in the day, what you think is cool as a 15-year-old boy really and truly isn't always cool. And you'll learn later down the line that it's not cool. And what is cool is thinking long term.
You made the right decision, because for me, I think playing the long game is better than playing the short game.
Definitely.
Yeah, yes. So if you were to give a word or two advice to kids now that, maybe they're probably under pressure to join gangs, to go into crime, what would be the advice to those young people right now?
Well, literally, like what I've learned recently is the first thing is long term. Like as I said a minute ago about science, like you wanna leave a legacy. Your legacy doesn't want to be the amount of people that you hurt. At the end of the day, when you pass, the only thing that people care about is how you make people feel, and the impact you made, and like how happy you make people feel. If you're out here like doing things that are making people unhappy or making a bad name for yourself, yeah, you might see cool to your friends that aren't really doing much. But in the long term, when you pass, your legacy isn't gonna be, oh, I made an impact. Your legacy is gonna be, I hurt all these people. Like all these people hate me, and that's not. What do you really want in life? How do you really want to be remembered? Forget about all the cool things. Forget about all the boys. Forget all the peer pressure. How do you want to be remembered? And very, very few people want to be remembered as the person that was mean to everyone and stole everyone's, like robbed everyone. You want to be remembered as the person that made impacts, that inspired people. So just think about inspiring. Don't think about all that stuff. Think long term, as I said. And one thing I always say to them as well is, in school, like we and you have both been through school, the things that were cool in school, you look at them now as like, what are you doing? Like I've had friends that were cool because they were doing like the bad man thing, whatever. But you look at them now and nobody wants to talk to them anymore. So people will grow out of that. And if you're doing the wrong things, people eventually, when they get older, will see you as, they won't want to talk to you anymore. So what's cool as a kid, like things in terms of like being a bad man, will not be considered cool as you get older. And remember that secondary school doesn't last forever. You leave secondary school at 16 years old, and then everybody goes their separate ways. So you might have a bit of fame in secondary school, but that doesn't last. What does last is how you make people feel, the connections you made, the friends you made, and the legacy, the impact you made behind on people's lives.
Very good answer, absolutely. So Austin, as a fashion designer, what inspires you?
I just like, with me anyway, I've always thought I stood out. Like in school, I was always like the class clown, like always a guy making jokes in the class. I always like kind of wanted attention, kind of thing, and I expressed that through fashion. So I remember the first time I actually cared about fashion was in my year 6. I think it was my year 6 end of year party, and I was in my wardrobe going through it, thinking, oh, I need to look so fly. And looking back at it now, the pictures, I was not looking fly at all. But that was, but my intention was definitely to look fly. And so like as I grew older, like I always wanted to dress the best, like look the nicest. So even if you look at my prom pictures, my year 11 prom, I wore an all white suit with a gold tie. Like everything was white. The only person in the whole prom that all white suit. And then I didn't tell anyone either. I wanted to surprise everyone. And then my year 13 prom, I wore as a Nigerian, I wore the traditional African attire. And then my brothers were telling me, don't do it, wear a suit, it's prom, how can you wear that? I said, no, I'm wearing this. And I absolutely smashed it. I came with my African attire that my dad bought from Nigeria, with my sleek shoes, and
That's
definitely
good.
fashion. I just looking
man.
fashionable. Yeah, definitely I have to. So just looking fashionable was always like my biggest motivation kind of thing when it came in terms of fashion. I wanted people, the same way I stood out in my 11 prom when all white, I want other people to stand out the same way and be comfortable standing out, which is where Born to Stand Out came from.
Take us back a bit of how that name, Born to Stand Out, came from. Like what really inspired it? What was the idea behind it?
Well, I've always wanted to start, like as I said, as I mentioned shortly, I've always been into selling, so I always like enjoyed selling, and I always like, my dad was a businessman, so I've always been into business. So then I had a friend that had a clothing brand. I was like, wow, that's so cool, man. I would love to do that, but I didn't know how, and I also thought that at the time there was a lot of brands out there, so I didn't really know if it was the right thing to do because there were so many people doing it. So I had a conversation with my cousin, and he told me it's not about how many people are doing it. It's about how you stand out in the crowded market. Like we see rappers every year. Like how many new rappers do you see come through every year? There's so many rappers in the world, but every year you get like one breakthrough rapper. So I said, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go for it. So as I said, I wanted a brand with a positive message behind it. So I was literally in class thinking all day, like, what can I do to spread positivity? What name could I have? And I thought of Born to Win, and my cousin was like, no, like, to keep thinking. And then eventually I came across Born to Stand Out, which I feel like reflected me so well. As obviously I'm dyslexic as well, so I've got my own kind of things that help me stand out. And
Okay.
so I wanted something that like with Born to Stand Out, like where which reflects me in terms of how I am and how I feel everybody should live their lives as a person. That don't be afraid to stand out, don't be afraid to be you, don't be afraid to show your uniqueness. So yeah, that's how the name really came about.
Okay, cool. So, Born to Stand Out brand, where do you see that brand in next, to say 2, 3 years?
Next few years, I feel like obviously, as I said, like with business, like people are always in a rush to be the biggest, the best. Like it takes 8 years to build a good brand, and it takes years. Like look at McDonald's, look at all the brands they've been going on for 50 to 100 years. People are so concerned of yes, I need to make all this money by next week, or I need to be the biggest by next week. It's not about that. It's about enjoying the process and being patient. So don't get me wrong. In the next few years, I definitely want to see growth. Like, but I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh, I want to be globally known, and I want to have stores in Asia. That's not the plan. I literally just want to keep the business running and hopefully maybe gain a bigger market share and literally just like gain more like notoriety around England. But I'm definitely in it for the long game, not the short game. So I'd rather do things now that will benefit me 10 years time rather than do short little things that will only benefit me, and then in 3 years' time I got no business. I'd rather do things now that will make my business well known in 10 years rather than do little things. So in 3 years' time, like don't get me wrong, I want to see growth, but not like it won't be amazing growth, just like more noticeable kind of thing as a brand.
On LinkedIn, I saw a video of you giving t-shirts to people back home.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know, what inspired that, and what does giving mean to you?
Well, actually, I have a cousin who had a charity called Shirts Off My Back. So I remember I helped him out with the charity. So we went to Nigeria in 2012. We went to
Okay.
Dominican Republic in 2016. We went to
Okay.
Mexico in 2017, and we went to those places and we gave out shirts to those people. And I was like, wow, it's amazing because as a young boy, I said 2012 was when I gave out my first when we first did a charity and gave it out, and I was 12 years old at the time. So just obviously as a young boy, you don't really expose to that in kind of England. So when I went to Nigeria and I saw these young boys that were so happy with a t-shirt, and as a kid, all you care about designer, you think, oh, if it's not designer, it's ugly. But these kids were getting shirts that didn't even fit them, that weren't even designer, but the joy in their faces was one thing that stuck with me for the rest of my life. I was like, wow, that there's people out here that then we don't have much, and a t-shirt can bring them so much joy. So I said, like, well, one day I'll definitely want to give back. Even now, like, I still want to give more back, but I was blessed with the opportunity to, as I said, like to bring in a larger order of clothing so that I had more room. I know I was going to Nigeria for Christmas, so I purposely bought in a larger stock of clothing to give to Nigeria when I get there. And
Okay.
that was just an amazing day, man. Like to, as I said, the reaction that they had when giving them a t-shirt brings me so much joy, and I can't wait to give more. Like my dream really is to travel the world and just give. That's my dream because I just love like the joy that it puts on people's faces. So that's probably my number one dream in life, to travel the world and just give
Absolutely, Austin. Giving is always better than taking.
100%.
Yeah, yeah, because when you give in turn, you sort of get back. Yeah, I don't know how that plays out, but I
Yeah,
know I know I know surely giving is better than taking 100%.
it's the happiness that you feel for me that really sells it to me.
As a young guy, you're in school studying, you've got your fashion brand.
Mm.
How do you manage your time?
That's good. That's a good question. With me, I've never been organized. I'm like my room's always been a bit messy. Like I've never really been an organized person, but for me, yeah, we are organized with priorities. Like I know what my priorities are. If I've got a big business meeting like I did on Tuesday, then like it's about priorities. That's more important than my lecture because my lecture I can watch back. But this business meeting is once, I can't get it back. So for me, when you're balancing multiple things here, make sure first of all it's doable. Like if like I was playing football for example, when my lectures were, it's not possible. I have to sacrifice football. You know what I'm saying? So like make sure that it's doable, and when it is doable, make sure you prioritize. If you've got a big business meeting or a big like thing for your business, then you might have to sacrifice. That's what it's all about sacrificing as well. So you maybe have to sacrifice this lecture and just go do whatever. But it's literally for me, about priorities, about how important it is and what's more important. and what can I catch up on, what can't I catch up on. So the main way I look at the start of the week and see like, wow, so what's the biggest priority this week, and what do I have to sacrifice? And hopefully I won't have to sacrifice anything because it all fits in perfectly. But when it does cross over, I definitely have to make sacrifices and use priorities.
Okay, that's good. So, being a black man, an
Yeah.
ethnic minority in London,
Mm.
how has that had any impacts on you growing up and up to where you are right now?
I feel like a lot of black people in school was hard for them in terms of like, um, well, what personally for me is I wasn't proud to be black for maybe till I understood what being black was. And I feel like that's the same for a lot of people because in school, especially in England, you're not taught about black, you're not taught about your history. So all I was taught in school was English history, and maybe French history, but I was never really taught about my history, my culture. So why would I really be proud to be a black man if I don't know anything from my history? Like people always say, "No, oh, love yourself," but if you don't know what to love, then why would you? You know what I'm saying? So I feel like growing up in London, especially when I was like one of 10 black people in a school. Not that I hate it, I love being black, don't get me wrong, but I didn't understand. I don't love being black as I do now because I don't know my history. And plus, in school, which a lot of people do, like you get kind of mocked for being black. Like definitely not. I wouldn't say it's bullying, but as a culture, like white people might mock your surname, or like mock your like African accent, or whatever. And so when you're getting kind of mocked for being African, and on top of that, yeah, you don't know any history of your black culture, then it's really hard to really, for especially young people, especially as a boy, we talk about 12-year-old boys here, 13-year-old boys. Imagine how hard it is for 12-year-old, 13-year-old boys to really love themselves as a black man when one, you're not being taught about your history, and two, you've got the kids next to you mocking your surname, even if it's just a joke. But you got the kids next to you mocking your surname, and maybe the girls might not be showing you as much love because they're black as well. Then, as a 13-year-old boy, I feel like it's very, very hard. So I feel like there needs to be a change in terms of education where a black man knows where he's from. Because it wasn't until I knew where I was from that I really started to love myself and go to Nigeria. Now I want to have a house there because I love it there. But in school, I wasn't taught about how amazing Nigeria was. All I saw was the adverts on TV about the people living in poverty and this and that. So like I feel like as a black man who didn't know much about his history and about his culture, it was hard for me to really like love being black as I do now. But now I love being black. I want something for the world. We're so amazing and powerful. We've been through so much.
Yeah, that's good, Austin, man. Absolutely. So do you think that going back to Nigeria regularly would bridge that gap of you knowing where you're from? If for instance, if kids could go back home regularly, do you think
Yeah,
that would help to enlighten them about their history and where they are from?
definitely like when you go back, because Nigeria isn't just all like poverty like it makes out. There's beautiful places in Nigeria. Like when I went to Nigeria recently, there was so many beautiful things, so many beautiful scenery, and even Nigeria and Africa as a whole, there's so many beautiful mountains and nature, and even the culture. Like that Nigerians are funny people, Africans are funny people. Like when you go to the culture and you see how like how happy everyone is. Like people, I don't see happiness in England like I do in Nigeria. I see people much happier because they don't compare themselves. Like if you got an iPhone 4 and he has an iPhone 6, then you laugh at him for not for spending more money. You know what I mean? Whereas in
Yeah,
England, if I've got an iPhone 8 and someone's got an iPhone X, wow, my life is a failure. You know what I mean? So I feel like in Nigeria people are a lot more happy. So, but as I say, not everyone can afford to do that. Like if I'm being honest, a lot of young black men can't afford to go to Nigeria because Nigeria is expensive, or Africa as a whole. But what I would say to them people is talk to your parents, talk to your grandparents, find out about your history, find out about what they've gone through, find out about their time in Nigeria. Like I've had a conversation with my uncle, with my dad, and it was one of the best conversations I've ever had. I even told my uncle that you need to make a movie out of your life because it's so interesting. So literally, like if you can't go to Nigeria, bring Nigeria to you, and ask your parents, ask your cousins, ask your aunties, ask your uncles about their time in Africa, and then that will help you gain understanding. And also, Google's free. Just Google your culture and learn how amazing you actually are.
yeah. That's good. That's good. That's good. So you spoke earlier on about your dad. Being you and your dad, you close. And
Yeah,
your dad being like sort of say like a body to you.
yeah.
So I haven't said that. What's your take on mentorship?
Well, I've got along with my dad. I've also got another mentor called Keith, who's been great for me, and I feel like mentorship is so important because there's so much time you have in life, And if you can learn from people that have been through it, it can save you so much time. So like mentors are people that have been through what you're gonna go through, and they can educate you on how to do it. You know what I'm saying? So that you don't have to go through it. So like if my mentor's business failed, he can educate me on why it failed. That way I can use that knowledge and then apply that to myself so that I won't go through what he went through. You know what I mean? So it saves you so much time as a mentor. And also like having someone to look up to is so important, because when you've got someone that really inspires you, it pushes you to another level. And I feel like your circle is really makes who you are. And if you're surrounded by people that aren't have all your kind of mindset, there's only so far you can go. But when you go, like if I live with Jay-Z for a year, I would be a different person. And I feel like I've become a different person since I started BTSO, my business, Born to Stand Out, because I've been around some amazing people, and that's really shifted my mindset. Even now, my mindset compared to people my age is so different because I've been around successful people due to being in the business world. So you're literally, your environment is everything, and having a mentor who can inspire you is so massive for you, massive.
Yeah. You're right, man. You're right, 100%. It's all about the mindset as well.
Yeah,
When you change your mindset, the way you think, the way you see things
yeah,
differently,
definitely.
and of course, we also have to unlearn most of the things we already know,
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah,
we can be open to more diverse things,
definitely. I
so
think that I think mindset is everything. Like I feel like happiness comes from your mindset. Like you can have everything in the world, yeah, blessings, but if you don't see it as a blessing, you won't be happy. And one thing I've learned recently is that like happiness comes from you. Like you need to bring happiness from what's around you. People are still concerned about comparing themselves to other people. Like they think that they need this to be happy or need that to be happy. But at the end of the day, if you're at university, if you got this clothing, if you achieve that achievement, if you scored a goal in football, that's draw happiness from your situation and stop looking at other people for happiness. You know what I mean? And I realized that happiness all comes from a change of perspective. Like I can like the other day, yeah, I went to the quarterfinals, I mean semi-finals or in football. I could have sat here and said that, oh, this boy is 19 years old yet winning Champions Leagues. But no, that would bring me unhappiness. But
yeah.
I saw that I went to quarterfinals, and I don't care what anybody else is doing. The fact that I'm happy myself because I went to semi-finals, that's enough. I feel like too many people, yeah, they they would neglect their happiness because they compare themselves to other people. Whereas no, look at your situation, look at what you're grateful for, and draw happiness from your situation. That's the only way you'll truly be happy. You'll never be happy comparing yourself ever. Just you have to draw happiness from your situation, and that's really what I strongly believe. It's all about perspective.
Yeah. Happiness, love, kindness, empathy as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
good. So what is what was your take on networking? Like, when people go to these networking events, because
Yeah.
I've been to a few myself, and
Mm,
and I know there are different messages and
mm.
different all different stuff, going there. So as a young guy, I know you've been to probably some networking events, What's your take on that?
Well, as I said, like growing up in London is not every single person is mentally like what you like mentally same as you. Like they might want a 9 to 5, which is nothing bad, but they might want a 9 to 5, or they might be more interested in clubbing and girls than a legacy. So I would say that what networking does here is it gets you in environments where you're around like-minded people, because it can be so hard to meet people that think the way you think and mentally think and are mentally as strong as you. So networking definitely what first of all gets you an environment where you're literally around people that think just like you, and for that can be so refreshing because it makes you feel like wow, I'm not a crazy, you know what I'm saying? And there's people that out there that are like me, and for me that brings me so much joy to think that wow, like I'm not alone in this journey. There's other people going through it. That's one thing. Number two, if you want a business like if you want a business, networking is everything. Like I say, I own a fashion brand. I need a cameraman, I need a marketer, I need a web developer. Um, you know what I'm saying? I need a designer. I need all sorts of things in it. So really and truly, I need to be networking to find those people. You know what I'm saying? So like, if it wasn't
Yeah,
for networking, I would have a brand because I need those people to push the brand. So networking also the business from a business point of view helps you find people that you need in your niche. So like, it's not gonna come to you. You have to go out and look for it. And if you go to these networking events and network, and as people say, yeah, I wish I could give your network is your net worth. If you could find an upcoming cameraman who's amazing, who's just as good as someone that's paid charging 2 grand, then you're winning because you're paying £20 for a cameraman who can do the same job as someone that's earning 2 grand. So, and that's all through your amazing network. You know what I mean? Like if I wanted my clothing in a store, it'll be hard. But if I've got somebody that I've networked with, I've got a relationship with, then it'll be a lot easier to make that connection. So your network is really your net worth, and a lot of things in life, in the business point of world anyway, are people usually turn to people that they know. So if you've got a connection, then it's a lot easier to get in with him than it is to find a random stranger. So your network is really your net worth.
Yeah, yeah. For me, I always say, relationship is a new economy.
Yeah,
So the way you relate to people, and the way you treat people as well, I think goes a long way.
yeah, definitely, man. And one thing I read a lot of videos on YouTube about, like from professionals, and one thing they always say is the energy that you put out, you'll always get back. So there's people that I might have helped when I was like 16, but because I helped them later down the line, they might say, you know what, let me buy a t-shirt or whatever because I really appreciate how you supported me. So let me purchase some clothing. Like the energy that you put out, you'll always get back. If you put out negative energy, the energy will only come and find you. If you rip this guy off, you've one lost a kind of customer, and two, that person you ripped off will then go to another customer and say, you know what, he's not good, they'll go to him. So the negative energy, although it might benefit you in the short term, but it will always come back to bite you, always, always. And that's one thing people need to remember.
Okay. That's cool. That's cool. So, now these days there's a lot of innovation, a lot of things going on,
Yeah.
social media, things like that. So, what's your take on social media and mental health? Because I
Yeah,
know as,
yeah,
as a young guy, you play with a lot of all the apps and things going on.
yeah.
What's your take on that?
I think it's more of a human problem than a social media problem. Like I listen to a guy called Gary Vee who's amazing. I think you should check him out. Everyone should check him out. And there's nothing's changed. Before phones, there was internet. Before internet, there was newspapers. Before newspapers, there was books. Like people are so quick to judge a new thing, but nothing's changed. The same way that we are on our phones now on the train, no one's communicating. If you look at a picture from 50 years ago, people on newspapers not communicating. So like, I think it's more of a problem with the humans. And I feel like one thing I'm so strong passionate about is social media is what you make of it. And you choose to follow who you follow. You choose to post who you post. You choose to use Instagram how you choose to use it. If Instagram will make you depressed, delete the app. I'm sorry, it might be harsh, but people forget that they're in control. If Snapchat make you depressed, delete it. If somebody is annoying you, block them. And the way I've set up my social media is I've unfollowed people that don't inspire me, don't motivate me. So now I'm not looking at rubbish. I'm now looking at people. Whenever I click on the Instagram app, I'm inspired because I follow people that genuinely inspire me. So right now, I don't have an issue with social media because I've set it up because I remember that I have control over what I see, and now I follow people that motivate me, inspire me, and everybody that doesn't do that, I've unfollowed them. I feel like people forget that they have control over their social media, and you do what you want. Like my Twitter is literally football pages. I only follow football pages, and that's the way I've set it up. And don't let anyone tell you that's the wrong way to do it because it's your life and you have control. So I've taken control over my social media and now only see what I want to see, and that way I'm very strong, kind of thing.
Okay, cool. Absolutely, Austin. Because social media for me, it's what you put in, you get out.
Mm,
You know, you know. If you don't point certain things, you won't get those things out. So if you
yeah,
put hate, if you put hate out there, you're definitely gonna get hate back. If you put love out there, you're
100%,
definitely gonna get love
100%.
back.
And you
You
control
know.
what you see. Like you control what you see. Like you follow what you follow. Like you can't be upset that your Instagram is full of rubbish and women because you've chosen to follow them. You know what I mean? It's crazy. It's absurd. Like people say that wow, social media is so negative. You're following these negative people. Follow some positivity, and then your social media will be more positive. My Instagram is full of positivity because guess what? I follow positive people. So like people forget that you have control and you choose who you follow. That's the realness of it.
Austin, that's right, man, 100%. So when you're not studying, designing clothes,
Yeah.
how do you spend your time?
Well, like I said, like football is like that for me, that escape. So football is definitely the way I escape from the world. Like when you're on a football pitch, people that play football understand that you literally forget everything else in the world. So that's definitely one thing I do. And also like it's important to keep fit. So football keeps me fit. Like I eat a lot, so playing football definitely keeps me fit and healthy. And a healthy body's a healthy mind. I also go to the gym, which is, as I say, the healthy body's a healthy mind. Definitely that the person. But also for me, a massive thing is music. Like I listen to so much music because music just keeps me driven. And I feel like now music is so important. What you listen to, yeah, can affect you mentally. Like if you're constantly listening to rubbish, that will affect you. Like so you won't notice it, but your self-conscious will be full of what you listen to. But if you listen to people that actually like talking like inspiring stuff, then that will change. So I listen to so much music, so much like people like Meek Mill, people that really like are inspiring and stuff like that. So music is definitely one thing that I'm doing when I'm not like. I'm also like I love humans. I love spending time with people. So I love spending time with friends. I love talking to friends, and I love meeting new people. So like when I'm not business or university, I'm definitely like with my friends, socializing, catching up, and just just having a laugh. I love laughing. So yeah, man, I've always got time for those things.